My name is Jeff Spees, and I would like to offer you an invitation to join me in some conversations about death and dying. Now, I know you don't get an offer like that every day, but at least you know what you're signing up for. I recently retired after a career in medical practice, first in oncology, the care of cancer patients, but very early on found an attraction to, maybe even a calling to the care of those who are near the end of their earthly existence, who are about to die. And through those years, in working with these patients, their families, their caregivers, and the amazing colleagues in this fascinating and challenging and rewarding field, I learned a tremendous amount. I was fortunate enough to be able to put some of what I learned, particularly from my patients, into a book that was recently published, Dying with Ease. But for right now, the main thing that I learned is that although all of us know that we're going to die, very few of us actually believe it. And you can prove that by the way we act and the way we think about, the way we don't think about our own dying. We tend not to think about our own death or our mortality because of the fear of what we are likely to find there. One result of avoiding encountering our own mortality is that Americans tend to undergo unnecessary suffering at the end of their lives. I titled this adult formation series, Know My End. This is a snippet from Psalm 39, a psalm in which the psalmist prays for forgiveness from sin as well as for wisdom. The whole verse says, Lord, let me know my end and the number of my days, so that I may know how short my life is. So this series of conversations began with the forum, the Trinity Cathedral Dean's Forum with Dean Owens, that was live on November 15th. And I'll put a disclaimer here. I've recorded the videos before doing the forum, so I don't know what we talked about in the forum. In addition to that, I've created 3 videos in which we will try and tackle some important concepts as well as some of the nuts and bolts of what death and dying is like, especially as it happens in America. Now, the first video deals with advanced care planning and with some additional comments about how the coronavirus pandemic has affected making healthcare decisions and planning for the end of life. In the second session, we'll talk about suffering, what it is, where it comes from, ways it can be dealt with. And this will lead us then into an exploration of what I'm calling controversial options at the end of life. The one that most people think about in this category is the practice of medical aid in dying, or what used to be called physician-assisted suicide. And in the third session, we're going to try and scratch the surface, at least, of the topic of religion and spirituality at the end of life. Now, there's a handout available for each of the sessions that includes some of the PowerPoint slides, as well as room for making notes and links to some of the references and documents that I'll be citing for anyone who wants to do a little research on their own. I'm hopeful that you'll find at least some of the information interesting and most of it useful. But even more so, very much hope that something of what I'll have to say will pique your interest to want to ask a question or give some pushback or make a comment or express your anger or other emotion. And that then we can have some conversation, some give and take, of course, over the Zoom platform. So as you go through this, if that's interesting to you, please let me know or let Reverend Adrian Cook know if you'd like to join in. And also, if there's a pressing question that you really want to make sure gets addressed in these conversations, maybe email it to me so that I can be sure and to give it priority in any conversations we have. And also, so that if I don't know the answer, I can do some research and find it out. So join me. I look forward to hearing from you and talking with you.